create a new project. I've gone ahead and created a new folder on my desktop called test to do this in. Really, it doesn't matter too much wherever you decide to do this. And we're going to call this my underscore video rental. We're going to kind of make it as if it's a rental video store website. So go ahead and create that project, and then I'm going to cd into my video rental here, and then off of this I'll say Django admin start app, and we'll just call this app videos. And this is where we're going to have a models.py file and an admin file that we can later kind of play around with. So let's expand this, make sure this all worked out. So I see my video rental, I see videos, I see models. So what I'm going to do is in my settings.py, I'm going to make sure I register this videos here. So I'm going to scroll down, and under installed apps, just go ahead and add that app name that we just created called videos. Save that. Always make sure you save so you can have those changes. Then we're going to come over here to models, and we're going to quickly create two models. Nothing too major here. The models we're going to create essentially just going to mimic having a movie and having a customer. So we'll say class, movie, and then we'll say models.model. And then let's give it some fields. We'll say title is models. And we'll have it be a character field. And let's go ahead and give it a max length of 256 characters. And then let's say the movie has a length in minutes. And this is, since it's a length in minutes, we know it needs to be a positive integer. So we'll have that be that type of field. And then there's also a release year. And technically that should also be a positive integer, so we'll do that as well. Just keeping things simple. The main idea is not working with the models, is working with the admin page. We're essentially just creating these because we need something to play around with later on. So I'm also going to create another model here called customer model. And we'll say inherit from models.model. And let's say customers have a first name. Let's say models, and that's also a character field with max length equal to 256. You can always copy and paste this from the notes as well if you don't want to type this all out. And let's say last name is models, basically the same thing here. Has a max length of 256. And then finally, let's say they have some sort of phone number or some sort of digital code. Doesn't matter too much, but we'll have that one also be some positive integer field. Okay, so Command S or Control S to save that. And then I'm going to make sure that I register these into the admin file. So we'll come over here to admin.py in our videos, and let's register these. We're going to say from dot import models, and then I will say admin.site.register, register, and I'm going to register my models. That way I can see them in the actual admin page. So models.customer, and then admin.site.register, models.movie. Then I'm going to Control S to save that. And let's go ahead and make sure we do our migrations. So over here down at the terminal, I can just zoom in a little bit for you guys. I'm going to do the following. We'll say, make sure I say Python manage.py, and then I'm going to say make migrations. And it went ahead and created model and movie, or excuse me, created model customer, created model movie. Then we're going to say Python manage.py, and I'm going to migrate any changes that we have under videos. It may say running migrations, there we go. And then I always like to say make migrations one more time to make sure there's nothing left. So no changes detected, perfect. And since we're actually going to be using the admin interface, we need to actually create a super user. So let's make sure we do that as well. We'll say Python manage.py, and this line is create super user, which we've done before. And if you get this error, no such table, auth user, that's actually an easy fix. It just means that you need to run python manage.py migrate. So come over here back to the terminal and say Python manage.py migrate, hit enter, and let it migrate everything. Now try it again, Python manage.py, create super user, and you should see it ask for your username. I'll say Jose. Email address, doesn't really matter, we'll say blank@gmail.com. Password, I always use test password. And type it in again. Your password's hidden for security. So there we go. Super user created successfully. Let's make sure it all works out. So we'll say now Python manage.py run server. hit enter there, and then let's copy and paste this URL and bring it into our browser, which I'm going to bring over now. So bringing in my browser, it says it worked. Congratulations, your first Django powered page. That's exactly what we want. As I mentioned before, we're really not going to be doing anything on this front end. So let's go ahead and say /admin and come over to our admin page. My username and password is already filled out for me, Jose and test password. You may have to fill it in depending on how many times you've done this before. Go ahead and log in, and here we go. Let me make this full screen. I can see my groups and my users. That's authentication authorization, which we've actually discussed before. If you click here on users, I can see Jose blank as Gmail. I have staff status, etc. And you'll notice that I have a filter option here. And we're going to discuss later on how to create these sort of filters on our own models. But let's go ahead and go back to home and check out our models. See here I have customers. And then if we come back to videos, I can see here I have movies, etc. So let's go ahead and create some customers. I'm going to add a new customer here. Let's just have the customer be me as well. And then some sort of phone number. It doesn't really matter. So we're going to save and add another. And then let's make a couple more kind of generic names. Random phone numbers, doesn't really matter. Save and add another. And last one, we'll say Cindy. Let's say that's also Smith because I'm not very creative here. And then we're going to say save. Okay, so we have 3 customer objects. Those are looking good. We'll come back to videos. We'll say movies. And then we'll add some movies here. So let's go ahead and add in some movies. Jurassic Park. Let's say it's 120 minutes. Release year, 1993, I'm guessing. Save and add another one. We'll say Star Wars. Length of this one, let's say it's 90 minutes. I don't know if that's true or not. And let's say 1973. I also don't know if that's right. And finally, let's do one more movie here. Let's say Indiana Jones. Let's say it was in 1984. Whoops, that's actually the length. So let's also say this one's 134 minutes and 1984. Again, totally just making that up. Okay, so now we have 3 movie objects and we're ready to go. So let's go ahead and go back to our page where we had the models and make the string representation, not just say movie object, but have it actually say the name. So we're going to go back over here and under models.py, notice I have my class movie and class customer. Let's go ahead and give it a string representation that we've done before. We'll go ahead and here we'll say def underscore underscore str underscore underscore. It takes in self and it's going to return self.title. We'll have that be the model, and then also down here for the customer, we're going to add a method here. This will be self, and then let's have it return, let's just have it return self.first name, and then we're going to concatenate it with self.last name. And basically, I'm just concatenating this string and then a little space there and then the last name. So now that we've done all that, let's go ahead and make sure that we migrate any changes that may have occurred. We'll say Python manage.py migrate. It'll say running migrations, no migrations to apply. So let's make sure that all worked. We'll say Python manage.py run server, hit enter. Our server's running again. Let me come back to the browser and bring it over. And I'm going to just come straight to the admin page. Okay, so here's the admin page. And if we check out customers, now we see Cindy Smith, Mike Smith, Jose Portilla. And if we come back to movies, we can see Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Jurassic Park. So now that we have these kind of string representations here, the string method, we can see that it's printing out that string as its name. So you click on Indiana Jones, you can see title, length, and release year, etc. Okay, so that's the very basics of the Django admin interface, and that's everything that basically already comes for free. And what I mean by free is that no work was involved, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, because this is a lot of kind of power, features, and already stuff that you can edit without having to code anything out. All you had to do was basically register it to the admin site. But we're going to learn how to add even more stuff to this. So the first thing you're going to learn is how you can edit this template. Maybe you want things like a different color, or instead of saying Django admin, or Django administration, you want it to say like Blockbuster's admin page or something like that. Not every user is going to know what Django admin means, etc. So in the next lecture, we're going to learn how to actually edit these templates. Thanks, and I'll see you there.